Swim check 1, 2. Bike check 1, 2. Run check 1, 2. I think we're ready. Let's try this. Welcome to the Try Beginner's Luck podcast, a podcast where we explore the sport of triathlon from a variety of perspectives to help beginner triathletes on their journey. I am your host, Mashonda Shines. Well, welcome back to another edition of Try Beginner's Luck. Ooh, I feel like we all just need to take a collective breath. Hold it in for a second, and now we can release. Boy, here we are. This is the official transition area where we will decompress together, not distract, because we aren't turning a blind eye to the reality, but we are choosing not to let it drain our batteries. We are going to control the controllables. We can't fix the whole world at once, but we can control our effort, our kindness, and our community. And we're going to continue to fuel the fire. I'm here to provide you with information and really good stories to help you cross your personal finish lines, regardless of what's happening on the sidelines. So, with that said, I am really excited to welcome my next guest, all the way from the ATL. Sometimes the doors into the triathlon is not the race, it's a conversation, a moment, and an invitation you did not see coming. And today's guest, that invitation happened after church over breakfast when a group of women, fresh out of a workout, sat down at a table. And among them was Julie Walker, the founder of Atlanta Tri Sisters, who issued a simple challenge that will change everything. Take a swim lesson and come and see what this sport is all about. Our next guest did exactly that. And when she comes on, she might look familiar or her voice might sound familiar because she spent the last 3 years helping people build something many of us hope to leave behind: legacy. She is a CPA, a serial entrepreneur, an author, and a nationally recognized financial expert who helps families build, protect, and transfer their wealth. She is the founder of Thank Me Later, a financial education platform dedicated to helping people organize their lives so that people they love and care about, so that the people that they love are cared for long after they're gone. Through her work, hundreds of families have completed estate plans and prepared to transfer millions of dollars in assets. As I mentioned earlier, you may recognize her voice from nationally syndicated The Ricky Smiley Morning Show, Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell, or The Willie Moore Jr. Show, where she's helped listeners make smarter decisions about their money and their legacy. But today, we're talking about a different kind of legacy. We're talking about a legacy that only Miss Jini Thornton can tell us about, because she didn't get started into triathlon until over the age of 50. And she's a part of the Atlanta Tri Sisters. And she's here to tell us today not only about how to be smart with our money, because you definitely need that in this sport, but also how to try, and that endurance has no expiration date. This sport is not reserved for a select few. It's reserved to those who are willing to go the distance. I am so excited to welcome to this audience, who's also my soror, a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Miss Jini Thornton. Welcome to Try Beginner's Luck. How you doing?
Oh my gosh, what a beautiful introduction. Thank you. I love that. I'm so glad, so honored to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. I was talking to my big sister, Rashawn Ali, and I was just like, I'm looking for some guests. I went to her for one guest, and she was like, nah, you don't want that guest. You want somebody else. I got somebody perfect for you. And then when I saw you, I was like, oh, what? Okay, excuse me. Okay, I'm here for this. So I want to talk about it all because I think it's so important to leave behind a legacy and financial. And based on being in this sport costs money to
For sure.
participate in it. So I want to hit on the first part of legacy, which is financial, but then we'll talk about the second legacy, which is health and sport and being in triathlon. So
Okay.
let's just get right into it. Financial, you're a CPA, you have started several different amazing programs. You are a serial entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur.
Mhm.
How, when, where did it all start? Take us back
My
to the
my
beginning.
my entrepreneur journey?
Yes,
Oh,
because you've
okay.
helped so many people. You've been on
Right.
nationally syndicated radio shows. You're helping
Right.
people.
Right.
Your whole mission is to help people create a legacy. And a lot of
Right.
people don't even know where to start for that.
Right. Right. Well, I have had a magical career. Let me just
Mm.
say that. I am super honored and blessed for what I've been able to do. So I'm going to make a really long story short. Yes, you're right. I am a CPA, studied accounting in college. I'm an Aggie, North Carolina A&T. Just want to shout out the Aggies real quick. But when I got to Atlanta, and started my corporate career, I had children very early. In fact, I had my first child in college. So I came to the work world a little different and had another son within my first year. And I was just like, I just don't think this place is meant for me based on how my life is currently set up. It's meant for women who don't have kids, don't have the level of responsibility. So I was immediately looking for a way to have more flexibility in my life. So used to live in Atlanta. There was this new radio station that had come to Atlanta, and this is back in 1995. And it was a hip hop station, so it was a really big deal. So on a competing radio station, V103, there used to be this financial show called Your Personal Finance, and I was like, I could do that. So at the time I was teaching at Spelman, I had wrapped up my corporate CPA career at KPMG, called the radio station. They were like, "Hey, come and meet us." Within 30 days, they put me on the air, and I had never even been in a radio station. And I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "This is exactly where I'm supposed to be," because it was like I love teaching at Spelman, but I needed a bigger classroom, and radio gave me that. So what happened to me when I was there, now the young guys at the station, they're like, "Oh my gosh, she's an accountant for real. So Janai, will you help me file my taxes? Will you help me clean up my credit? Will you help me buy a house?" And there was this amazing kid, intern, who was a student at Georgia State. And he kept saying, "Well, Janai, when I become a rapper, I want you to be my accountant." And that kid became ludicrous. And
Uh,
that's how I built my first business, the business that I'm still in today, 32 years later, of being an accountant in the entertainment industry. So I just listened and volunteered at this radio station. They weren't even paying me, and it just put me in this epicenter, and it helped me build a business that I literally have been running for 32 years now. But I just always loved teaching. I always loved education. So I found myself in the space with all this talent, all these executives that were making a gazillion dollars. But I just always stayed connected to just the general listening audience. And I've been able to just kind of work in both worlds, in this entertainment space and in this media space, and be able to merge the two worlds together. And that's really kind of the beginning of my entrepreneurial story.
wow. Oftentimes it's those early instances of just saying yes.
That's it. Yeah.
And
And, and
oh, go
just
ahead.
shooting your shot. I was like, yeah, I'm going to call her. Sure. Let me call the general manager at the radio station. She took my call and one meeting, and it literally changed the trajectory of my entire life. That was it.
Wow.
Mhm.
And so taking care of yourself is what I really heard is you needed to find a way to take care of yourself so that you could take care of your family. And you created the avenue
Yeah.
for you to even say yes because you thought about
Right.
putting your family first and needing the flexibility.
Right.
That flexibility has given you the opportunity to start other businesses. Let's talk about that because I
Hmm.
feel like one of them is one where you're helping young girls
Hmm.
and women.
Well, I grew up in a family where entrepreneurship was normal. So I was never afraid to do it. And I had amazing role models of what to do. And I also had some really good role models of what not to do in business. And I was able to kind of lean into both of those examples. And where I have spent a lot of my time, when you talked about legacy, this is really an idea that I got from radio. People would call me all the time when they had a loved one who passed away. asking for my guidance on, how do I handle the life insurance and how do I wrap things up with their employer? And, I can't find the will. And people desperately needed my help. And I just started listening to that. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's something really here. And before I knew it, I had done a couple of different things. I had created an event called Black Women Will, where we provide free estate planning. To date, we've helped over 500 women prepare to transfer over $188 million in assets. We do a lot of education around legacy planning because what I've really paid attention to, Mashonda, is this: we're taught how to work hard, but we're not taught how to pass on what we have, whether we have a whole lot or if we have a little bit. We don't have that same intention on making sure our affairs in order and that we're giving our family essentially a layup. And whether we are sick or whether we pass away, and just the gap was so wide. But again, just listening, paying attention, I was again in the right place at the right time. And I think I had just really earned the trust of the people in radio, and people kept calling me. And so we came up with an answer.
How incredible is that to be able to help over 500 women with over 88 million in assets, is it?
No, ma'am, 188 million in
100. Yes.
assets.
Don't let me
Yeah, okay.
diminish that.
Don't
One,
don't forget the one,
the
honey. Don't
one,
forget the one. Don't forget that.
because that's important. 188. Wow. That's
Yes.
incredible.
Thank
And
you.
and I know that especially in the Black
Mhm.
community, that is one area that could totally be increased in having that knowledge and resources around. And then
For
just women in
sure.
general. We're the fixers of so
Oh, for
much.
sure. Yeah.
And so making sure that we as women are maximizing our planning efforts to make sure that our money and financials are in the right place.
And just as importantly, making sure the people around us who we're going to have to help and take care of do that for us
If they listen.
if they listen. Absolutely. Yep.
Because, knowing a little bit about this, you're telling people who are older, like, hey, are these things in order? And this is more of the boomer generation. They don't really want to do it. And you have to be like, hey, we need you to. So
Yep.
give us any advice on stubborn parentals who don't want to do the right thing for those who
Well,
may have
I
them.
think, you know what, the reality is you have to lead by example. And I think there's this notion that it's only for older people to do and it's for everybody to do.
It's true.
So I think if we can show how, hey, this is what I've done, you know, this is my gift to you. This is my gift to my sister or whomever it is who would have to lead if you became ill or something happened to you. We have to model the behavior. We're asking them to do something that we haven't done ourselves. And so, again, I think leading by example just shows this is just an act of love. This is not
Mm.
being nosy. This is not about money. This is not waiting for somebody to die, so you can cash in. This is literally love in action. And, I was 29 when my mother passed away. And I'm just forever grateful. There was not one document that I needed to look for. There wasn't one decision that I needed to make. I knew where everything was. I knew who every important person was, how to contact them, and why to contact them. I knew that I should sell the house. I knew who the agent should be. Like she laid it all out for me, which just really allowed me the opportunity to grieve. I didn't spend years trying to put the puzzle together, and I'm just forever grateful that my mother gave me that gift. And that to me is what it's all about. So again, at 29 and having to be in charge at 29 too, um, my mom just again gave me the gift that just has kept on giving. And that to me is what it's really all about. It's really about love.
Mm. Well, thank God that your mother was so wise
Mhm.
and did the things that she needed to do. And sorry for your loss, because to be able to just grieve,
Yeah,
that's a gift
that's a gift.
in
It's a huge
itself,
gift. Yeah.
and not have to worry about things. And we don't talk about grief enough because grief is this continual cycle and you go through different phases of it. But to be able to just know where everything is, that truly is a gift.
Oh my gosh,
So I'm thanking your mother for you again. Like, oh my gosh, thank you for leaving that because it is truly an act of love.
it is.
Well, let me ask this because you said lead by
Mhm,
example. So right before the pandemic, and I don't even know where I got this, probably listening to Dave Ramsey or something,
mhm,
and probably was like, well, no, I should get a life insurance policy.
mhm.
Do you think that is still a good way to go to start to build the act of love files for your family?
Absolutely. People don't understand the power of life insurance. It can be just a check, right? It can
Mm,
be a way to pay burial expenses. Um, but even for me as a beneficiary of my mother's life insurance, it gave me and my family's financial stability. Its goal is to replace income, and it can literally change a family's trajectory. There's no question about that. Certainly, we want people to be responsible with it.
right.
We want to be intentional, but it is a very powerful tool to, again, maintain stability, financial stability with the family, and potentially, and even take families up to the next level. I have seen women whose husbands who've passed away who've had to move, downsize, can't keep things going. I've also seen women whose husbands who passed away who did not have a care in the world
Wow.
because they had that life insurance as that financial gap. It's a game changer.
So, what would you say if we, because doing triathlons can be risky,
Right,
right? Not that we think that it is, but we're
right,
seeing one, it is a gift to try. Let's just, everything is a gift these days to breathe, to do all
right.
the things. But
Sure.
what will be the top 3 to 5 things that people could
Mhm,
do in order to
mhm.
set themselves up to have, or to set their loved ones up with the act of love, the legacy that you think should be in place
To protect their
and
legacy.
to protect their legacy? Yes.
Well, you've just talked about one of them. Having life insurance is one thing, but one thing I've noticed, people will completely forget about the fact that they have not looked at their beneficiaries in years. It is so common for people to have people still listed who are already deceased. We don't check them. So once a year, please check the beneficiaries on your life insurance. It's huge that we do that. Number two, something very simple that people can do is please have a payable on death on your bank and investment accounts. And essentially, what that means is when you pass away, the person that you name can have immediate access. So they're not joint. They have no access before, but at least now their name is listed. They just have to take the death certificate to said bank or investment company, and now they can have access to those funds. I see families trying for months to get access to bank accounts and retirement accounts, and it doesn't have to be that way. So those are two simple things. And a third thing that people don't think a lot about is please make sure your family members know your work information. So God forbid you ever got sick or passed away. Who is your supervisor? Who are 2 or 3 best friends at work? So again, if something happened to you, who could they call who could kind of help navigate the system at work? Who's in charge of HR or benefits? The keys to the kingdom a lot of times are at our employers, our health insurance, our disability insurance, life insurance. So much is held at work. And so those are some really simple things that could really help your families, get their footing underneath them. Last thing I want to mention for all of our, nobody can survive in this world without a phone. Um, all phones have something called legacy contacts. So you can literally, I happen to be an iPhone user. No shade at anyone who isn't, but in 2 minutes or less, you can go to your settings and literally pick your legacy contact. So again, God forbid something happens, this is the person who can have access to your phone. You pick them, you send them what's called a legacy key. And this is what they're going to need to do because your whole life is in that thing. Everything about you is in that thing. And so if you haven't shared your password, what a beautiful, easy gift to give to people. And what's really beautiful about everything I shared, you don't need a lawyer to do any of the things that I just shared. You just need to do them. but can be extremely impactful on your life, your family. And again, these are things that it can take you all doing all four of those things combined. You can do all those things in less than an hour.
I love that. I did not know about the legacy contact. I knew about the emergency, but I'm gonna have to go check out the legacy one.
There's a
So,
legacy contact, and you can pick several people too, and you can pick their name and you can send them what's called a legacy key.
mm,
And that way now they can actually have access. So I picked my husband, got my best friend, I have both of my kids. So that way, again, they can have access and just kind of keep things going. That's the key. You want to keep things going. You don't want to disrupt life.
nice. I love it. Speaking of keeping things going, you made a decision a couple of years ago to take charge of you at a
Mm.
table brunching in Atlanta.
Oh, wait. Man, I call it adult peer pressure. I swear, I feel like I got kind of called out one day. So I was at breakfast with a girlfriend, and I see Julie Walker walking, who I knew from church, and it was like a weekday. And I'm like, why are they coming in here with this wet hair? Like, where have y'all been? Like we're not in the Bahamas. Like, where have y'all been? And they were like, oh, we just finished swimming at the Y. And I'm like, y'all swim for real? And then they just were like, yeah, yeah, we swim all the time. We're triathletes. You need to come out. And I was like, you have got to be kidding. And I just felt like Julie kind of called me out in a way, because I'm 56 and these women are all at least 10 years older than me. That's why I was like, no way. No way. So I leaned in and I went to the YMCA, the Andrew Young YMCA, and I took an adult swim lesson. I knew how to swim, but when you go on vacation, you don't swim. It's just you're cute in water. It's no real swimming. So I hadn't really swam in like 20, 25 years. I took this adult swim lesson and Coach Alanga said, you should join my master swim group. And I'm like, really? You think so? And I just kept going. I just kept returning to swimming, and slowly more peer pressure was coming. That's when Julie started talking to me about doing a triathlon. I'm like, there's no way. Never, ever, ever gonna do it. Not gonna do it. But with that support of the Atlanta Tri Sisters, which is a phenomenal group, just an amazing group of women who look like me. The majority of them are older than me, and they have just done a phenomenal job. So, at any rate, Atlanta Tri Sisters is just one of the most beautiful communities I've ever belonged to. We are part of a sorority. Um, there is just this incredible, very intimate sisterhood in this group where I just felt like I could do anything. And what it has meant to me to see these incredible women who are old enough to be my mother, who are still training and competing, and many of whom could not jump in the water, could not do anything up until like their 50s. Several of them never even swam ever until they retired. But I'm like, these chicks are competing. And I was just like, I have got to lean in here. And now these are my new role models. These are the women who I want to be when I am in my 70s. I did St. Anthony's Triathlon last year. I entered the water with Francine, who at the time, I don't know, she was 75 or 76. Like I'm literally running into the ocean with the woman old enough to be my mother. I'm like, how is this even possible? How is this possible? I've got to be her when I grow up.
I love that. I love that. This sport is one that's truly inexhaustible. Like you can keep trying until you choose that you don't want to. And I
Yeah,
think that's the beauty of triathlon, in which most people don't realize that until they're a lot older.
you're
You,
right.
most individuals, when you look at the spectrum and think about the reports that USA Triathlon has produced, the sweet spot isn't in the 20s
No,
or the 30s.
mm,
However,
no.
they're making their come up, but it's
Yeah,
really in that group of 45 and above
Right.
who have discretionary income who can
Time and
participate
money.
in time and money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And so the fact that there's women who you were able to get into the water with that will be could be your mom, that's
Hmm.
inspirational because
Oh
that
my God.
pushes you to keep going, even when you may feel
Oh,
like, oh my gosh, this is so hard.
and kicking my butt in the water too. It's like, how can they outswim me and they're in their mid 70s? How is this possible? How is this happening to me? I remember we were doing some training and we were with a different coach, Coach Drelly, and she's my strength trainer now, Kathy Murray. And she's an incredible triathlete. I remember she's got to be at least probably about 10 years older than me. I remember her just like intentionally bumping me. You know what I mean? Because you know how people, this is not like you get your own little lane and this is cute swimming. Just to be, just, it's not that I felt that she was trying to intimidate me, but it was just like, she was just the baddest chick in the game. And I was like, this woman today, I wish I could swim like her. She's got to be at least 10 years older than I am. And I'm like, how can they be in this? How can they have this level of fitness? And I'm like, again, this is who I want to be. So I have surrounded myself with them. I have become part of this culture. I made a decision that I don't want to be in shape, that I want to be an athlete. Um, they're two different enough, and I've never been an athlete in my life. I did not compete. I didn't compete in high school and college, but I was like, I need a new adjective on how to describe myself. And I decided I wanted to be an athlete. And shape was just like, kind of whatever. I'm like, no, I want women, the way that I regard these 60 and 70-year-old women on my team. I want people to regard me the same way. And every year I've just progressed and I've gotten better. And I'm like, because if Francine is old enough to be my mom and she probably came out of the ocean maybe 30 seconds behind me, maybe. I just remember getting out of the ocean and turning around and I was like, oh my God. Again, old enough to be my mom. I'm like, that's who I have to be.
I'm always inspired by people when I see their age on their calf muscles is higher than
Yeah.
mine.
Yes.
First of all, I think it's disrespectful that we have to put our age out there, but
Right.
I absolutely love seeing those who are older. And
Oh my God.
I'm interested in this Kathy Murray who just kind of gently, pushed you like, so what's up?
Oh yeah.
Let's
Oh,
go.
what's up? But I needed that energy though. And like I said, she's my strength trainer today. And it's so funny to talk to her. Like I was training with her yesterday and she's, what she's training for now, like she is relentless. She's in such incredible shape. I call her like a Greek goddess. I'm like, how do you live? How do you look like this? How do you live like this? And I'm like, they have redefined aging for me. They have redefined fitness for me. They've just redefined everything for me. And I'm like, I don't want this peer group. I need this peer group because no one else around me has this level of fitness. They're not competing, they're not training at this level. And now I don't feel crazy. Now I'm part of a group that's doing the same thing versus like, oh my God, girl, why are you doing all that? That's crazy. You're swimming in open water. Now this is the norm. I would not swim in open water. That was my number one phobia for me.
Hmm.
Like what it took for me to get to competing in open water. And of course, my family's like, girl, now you're doing too much right now. Like, we don't do that. We don't do that. Like, what are you doing right now?
Man, it's interesting because you are right. We don't typically do that, but we are doing
No.
it. And we're
Yes.
changing the trajectory of our families and getting them
Yes.
interested, even if they're looking on the sideline.
Yes.
Um, and so my question to you have you been able to pull any of your family members into the tri space?
Oh, okay. I'm so happy you asked me that. So I've done St. Anthony's twice. The first time I competed, I did the Meek and Mighty, which was, in the pool, because I'm like, ooh, girl. I literally, at 50, 6 years old, I had never put my face in the ocean ever. Never. I had never submerged my head in any body of water ever.
So
So I
let me
had
get
a,
these numbers right. Wait a minute. So at 56,
yeah.
and so you've been doing triathlon for how long?
So okay, one, I've done one open water competition, which was last year. So 2025, I did St. Anthony's. I should have done the Chattanooga 70.3 as a relay team, but they canceled the swim. I was the swim leg. So I should have done that last year too. But the swim was
Swim was
canceled.
canceled.
It was canceled, so that made me really, really sad. So I went from being too afraid to put my face in the water to competing in the water. Like I had a real phobia of open water. And again, part of the Atlanta Tri Sisters community. In fact, I'm like, how am I leading? I'm leading a group in about 2 weeks. We're going to Florida for open water swim training. But what it means to, be in a group where everything they have really planned and thought of everything from, all the swim, bike, and run training and strength training, but making sure we get the open water swim training, just to all the logistics of where we're going to stay, hotel, and, our uniforms. You can see us like 4 football fields away. Like we have the most beautiful, bright, we're not hiding. So clearly people notice us because we're this incredible group and we're pretty deep. There's like 30 of us um, who are competing, but then we have these neon bright fluorescent uniforms. So you can see us football fields away. And just to have that camaraderie. So for the 2 years I've been going to St. Anthony's, I brought my cousin I'm originally from Rochester, New York. So my cousin Tina, I brought her as kind of like my moral support. And my husband came too. And so I did the Meek and Mighty competition in the pool. Second year, obviously, I did the sprint. And so this year, my cousin is doing the Meek and Mighty. It's
Okay.
like when she told me she wanted to train, I was like, oh my gosh. And then she even recruited some of her friends in Buffalo who are also going to compete as well. So it is happening. I'm very intentional about posting my workouts too, because I just want women to know. I want people to know, like, no, you can actually do this. And whenever I do a 5K, I'm always recruiting. I'm like, girl, oh my God, you're such an incredible runner. You should do a triathlon. Oh my God, you're so amazing. You should do this.
You're taking them from 5K to triathlon with.
I'm like, let's go, girl. Girl, I could barely keep your pace. You need to be what you should do a triathlon. Oh my gosh. Because it just doesn't even seem like it's possible. It just seems like it's so far away. And that's why I'm so grateful for races like the Meek and Mighty, where you can just start. You know what I mean? You just got to start. You got to know what it is to swim, get out the pool and get your butt on a bike and, and then run a mile. Like, what a beautiful way to start. And so I think those opportunities really help to introduce the sport.
Okay. One, I've heard so much about the St. Anthony's race.
Oh, I love
Um,
it.
it's a race now learning. I just thought they had like the sprint, the Olympic, and the half distance. But hearing that they have a meek and mighty, that's like
Yes.
everybody who wants to try can come and try in a day and have an
Just come.
amazing day of fun
Oh my
in our
gosh.
spandex for all levels. And I think that is so cool. I'll have to reach out to those gentlemen, the race director down there, to have them on the show because I keep hearing so much about the race. And
Yeah.
when Rashawn told me that you all were doing that race, I looked on the schedule and I actually have another engagement that weekend because otherwise I was
Mhm.
going to try to come down there to see you all and meet you all there because I think it's so incredible and to be in a space that were other women from Atlanta. I was like, I want to be
Yeah.
there. However, I
Oh,
did
girl,
tell
yeah.
some of my friends in Florida who are still try curious. I was like, go volunteer
Yeah.
so that you can see people who look like you doing
Yeah.
it because that will
Yeah.
be what inspires you to go further and train differently than you had been training. You said such a mouthful. You And I love because you're such a great storyteller that I don't have to like probe or anything. But when you said I just didn't want to be in shape, I wanted to be an athlete, and you
Want to be an athlete.
describe you use the adjective to say this is who I am. That's a
Absolutely.
mind shift, mind shift that
Completely.
really
Yeah.
changes the game.
Oh, completely. Yeah. And I mean just the energy, the mental space that I have put myself in, because I'm like, no, I'm not in shape. I'm an athlete now. That it's completely different. And I've never been an athlete until I was 55 years old.
Wow.
Never been. I'm just like, you know what? I'm in a new chapter and I want to use some new words to describe myself. And I'm like, what is going to help me today and tomorrow? What is going to help me physically, mentally? And I wanted to intentionally make myself uncomfortable. I'm like, life will give you discomfort. But I'm like, I want to intentionally create that discomfort so I can learn how to manage it. I wanted to tackle my greatest fear, which was open water swimming. So now I'm just like, now it's just like, what's next? I'm like, okay, I started with the thing that I was afraid of the most, using an adjective that I've never used to describe myself ever. Because now I feel like I can do anything at this point now.
Of course.
Yeah,
So Meek and Mighty was your first. You were able to swim in a pool, get
yeah.
yourself comfortable. You
Hmm.
did the bike, you did the run, and I'm sure that was more like a super sprint. So it was probably a few miles. And then last year you did the sprint.
I
Take
did the
us
sprint.
through what it was like to go from the Meek and Mighty to the
Hmm.
sprint triathlon mentally for you and
Right.
the distance and training for you, because
It
that's
was,
a big difference. Like you're saying, you intentionally
yeah,
wanted to make
yeah,
yourself uncomfortable, you
right.
feared the water. That's a real
Petrified.
mind shift.
Yeah. When I did the Meek and Mighty's on Saturday, the sprint and the Olympic are on Sunday. I'm so happy that they do that. So that way you can really support your Meek and Mighty participants and sisters. So after I did the Meek and Mighty Saturday, and then of course I went Sunday to see my teammates compete in the sprint and the Olympic, and I was just kept sitting there and I was like, man, I'm gonna have to do this next year. I knew I didn't want to, but I'm like, I have to do this next year. And Julie Walker, again, the incredible founder and leader of Atlanta Tri Sisters, she is so bossy.
Sorry, I'm not even on mute. I looked at myself. She just has strong
She
leadership skills.
No, 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 no. She's so proud to be so bossy. And she's like, oh, you can't do the Meek and Mighty anymore. Oh no, sprint for you next year. Like she just kind of puts you in a headlock or you don't have a choice. Fortunately, I had already made the decision. But I was like, Julie, I got a real problem with this open water. So do you know who Khadijah Diggs is? You got to know who
Of
Khadijah Diggs is. Okay.
course.
Okay. So listen. How about Khadijah and I live next door to each other in the dorm our freshman year of college?
Stop.
Swear to God. So obviously I know her. And I did not know Khadijah, the triathlete.
But
I
she's a
knew,
baddie.
oh, she's a baddie.
Oh
I
yeah.
knew Kelly Diggs, who lived next door to me. So I was at an HBCU swim meet and she walks in and everyone's just like praising her name. Khadijah. I was like, y'all know her? Like, I've known this girl since 1987. We were next door neighbors in the dorm. I was like, I had no idea. People have been talking about Khadijah. I didn't know who she was because that's not who I knew. Once I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. We had not seen each other, I don't know, since maybe like, if I, maybe like 1990. We had not seen each other one time. Immediately locked eyes. And then I was like, okay, let me talk to Khadijah to get some help with my training. So I
Perfect
did.
person. She loves to swim. Perfect person.
She loves to swim. She loves to do everything. Of course, we had this camaraderie, of having gone to college together. And so I put her in the mix. So obviously, I'm swimming with Atlanta Tri Sisters on Sunday. I'm still at the YMCA with Coach Alonga, who is a legend. Oh my God, he's a triathlon legend. I still have him. Then I put Khadijah in the mix. And I felt I built the best support team, but Julie knew as as bossy as she is, she was so compassionate and she knew I needed some help. So when we were going to open water swim training, we used Coach Leo for open water swim training and in St. Petersburg. And so she made sure that I had private time with him, you know. And so I just got to sit out there with him and I'm like, look, listen, let me talk about where my fear comes from. Because he's like, did you ever have some trauma? Did you almost drown? No, no, I've never had any of that. So he just really was so patient and he worked with me. And so that just clicked it. So let me just say this. I don't like the open water, but I can do it. I don't like it, but I can absolutely get through it. And so I've done rivers and lakes. The first time I did a lake, I was like, oh my God, I cannot see my hand. Why can I not see my hand? This is crazy. Like this is absolute. So I've had to kind of talk to myself still like, girl, why are you out here? Like, what are you doing? What is happening right now? And that has really been my journey. That still kind of is my journey. I remember when we were doing our pre-swim for the sprint and in St. Petersburg. And so, you know, you go out, you hit that first ride at the buoy, and I'm swimming with these couple other guys. We hit the buoy, and this guy stops and he stands up. And I was like, you can stand up out here? No. He was like, you didn't know that? I'm like, no, I did not know you could stand up out here. Because Coach Alanga has always said, Janai, don't ever worry about the bottom because you're not trying to go there anyway. It doesn't matter how deep it is because you're not trying to go there. Your job is to stay on top. So I just assumed, of course, that it's like 200 feet deep. Man, we passed that first buoy and the sky stood up. And I was like, okay, all right, okay. So these are all some of the things that helped me make that transition out of the pool. I don't know, I've always had really good lung capacity. And so training, you know, for the running and the bike just wasn't difficult for me. And I just kept, kind of pushing along. And it's just been incredible. I keep pushing myself.
So 2 years in the game, you started
Hmm.
off with Meek and Mighty. You did the
Hmm.
sprint last year. So
Hmm.
Olympic this year?
Um, Absolutely not. But let me tell you the reason why. Of course, you sound like Julie now. Okay, Julie,
Oh,
back
don't do
off.
that to me.
You sound like her. She's like, Janai, you have to do the Olympic. And the only reason why I'm not doing the Olympic is I'm in the middle of a double move. I'm moving my office where I've been for 18 years. We just bought a new house. I'm moving my house. I have so much personal life going on. I knew I could not commit to the level of training. Because like Coach Alanga says, the race is easy. It's the training that's hard. I mean, the race, you're like, whoa, okay, like what's next? So I am not doing the Olympic, but I am going to be on a relay team for Chattanooga again. So hopefully that the weather will be good and the water will be good. I'm super excited about that. So that's my next goal. I'm going to swim the Chattanooga. I want to swim a 70.3. I want to bike it, then I want to run it on a relay team. Then I'll decide if I want to put the three of them together. I want to try each one separately on a relay team.
I love that for you.
Yeah, I'm excited about
I
it.
love that so much because I think, relay teams are really the best way to test the sport out, right?
Oh my God. And they're so much fun.
They are.
Yeah.
They
So
are.
last year for Chattanooga, my son who ran in college, Division 1 amazing, incredible runner. He was our runner last year, my son Cameron. And we had another gentleman who I did not know, Khadijah, hooked me up with, guy who ended up being our biker. And it was just a beautiful way to experience. I'd never been to an Ironman. Like what like what? Like people do this for real? What is
For
going
real.
on? So that's my next thing is to compete in an Ironman, a 70.3 relay team.
And you're going to be fabulous. And
Oh,
swimming in the river is fun, especially the Chattanooga, because you have a lot of uh, draft
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
or
That's what Coach Alanga says. He's like, Janai, You could float on your back and make great time. That's what he tells me. Oh, don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
You'll make great time if you just float on your back. And I'm like, yeah, I would like to have a little help. I'll take the help.
There's this one race, and I can't remember if it's Chattanooga or North Carolina, where they put a bag of chips with the last
It's
person that can chip.
Chattanooga.
It's
It's
Chattanooga. Okay.
Chattanooga.
And the
Uh-huh.
bag of chips
Uh-huh.
makes it down in the same. So if a bag of chips can make it down the river, you can just hold your hips up and just coast down the river, and you know you will make the swim cut off. So I absolutely love that. This has been fascinating. I have so many other questions, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna try to get a few more in before we wrap up. But
sure.
when you talk
Sure.
about triathlon, you truly light up. And I love the fact
Hmm.
that the degrees of separation between sport and you knowing Khadijah, who is a rock star in sport, who's paving the way for so many
For sure.
Muslim women in sport. And she's constantly improving herself. When I was in Atlanta in October, I went to her house and we spent some time together, and she's just a good human. Um,
Oh, for
and
sure.
you light up, kind of like Khadijah does when, she's talking about sport and improving. We know that you want to do a 70.3
Hmm.
relay, but we know what that really means because this sport is the queen of fear of the joy of missing out. Nobody wants to miss out on doing the thing. So we know that you will
Right.
be doing an entire 70.3 on your own.
Right.
Once you finish training and moving, well, once you finish moving this year, do you think towards the end of the year
Hmm.
you will do a different type of triathlon to give you some experience before going into and trying the 70.3 distance with the different, because you'll do the swim in May, then that means you'll have to wait another year to do the
Hmm.
bike, and we don't want you to wait that long. So what could you do possibly
No.
at the end of the year to kind of help your journey?
It's funny that you're asking about that. I am. I'm very curious about what my other opportunities could be, whether it's Augusta, what could I do to kind of keep the momentum going this season? Because I don't want to tap out this season at all. So I don't want to overcommit. But I would like to. I was saying to my one of my Atlanta Tri Sisters teammates, I was like, "Hey, we need to just go ahead and put a relay team together where we can just all three just switch places until we've done all three of them, and then let's just pick a few races to allow us to do that." So I think my next goal right now was to really focus on the running. It's the other thing that I'm just like that I want to do the least. I'm like, why? Who runs a half marathon? Like like who does that? Like there's no real reason to run that long. But that's my next thing that I really want to do. I really want to lock into the running, and that's the next thing that I want to do that I know is going to make me grow, but it makes me uncomfortable.
Mm. And yes, there is no real reason to do a half until you do a 26.2 miler and then you're doing the full.
Girl.
And so then it's just like endless possibilities.
Oh my God.
Is
Now
that too much too
that
soon?
sounds insane. That sounds insane to
It
me.
sounds
Like
insane until you do it. It sounds insane until you do it and you're around the atmosphere. Atlanta Tri Sisters, how long have they been in existence? Because I had not heard of them until Rashawn mentioned Atlanta Tri Sisters.
Oh my gosh, girl, you have got to get connected to them
You gonna help me do that?
immediately.
Because I
Uh,
need to get involved, or at least have them on the
you
show.
please do that. They're over 10 years old.
Really?
Over 10. Yeah. Julie Walker and there's several other women in leadership. Like they are this just incredible, loving, strong, competitive group that year after year has created this just incredible group and community. And Ju I can't wait till you meet Julie. That's all I gotta say. I can't wait till you meet her.
Okay, so you don't boss me around on my own show, you think?
She's gonna boss you around. And just her story, Julie has had some very significant health challenges. And just to see her really persevere the way that she has.
Yeah.
And again, the community, I know like next week we have like a social outing together. We have this big end of season. I'm looking at actually one of my awards from last year. Like we get they have an award ceremony at the end of the season. They put their heart and soul into ATS and just what it has done for all of us, health wise, but just again, all the other benefits, the sisterhood, and just the relationships that come from it. It's absolutely incredible. So please engage. Yeah, I'm happy to introduce you to them.
Yes. I
Well,
started
when you're ever
following
in
on Instagram and
Atlanta,
sent them a DM,
yeah.
but haven't heard back
Uh,
because they probably don't
uh,
check.
they're horrible with that. Don't
Okay.
don't don't do that. You don't
Okay.
want to. I need to email connect you, but whenever you're in Atlanta, particularly during between that October to April time frame, you have to come to our training.
I, mm, Okay. We'll talk when we finish taping
Okay,
because
you got to do it. But if it weren't for Atlanta Tri Sisters, I would not be in the sport.
okay. I
No
love
way.
that. We often say here, or a lot of guests say that community is everything, and
Yeah,
especially in the tri community, because
right.
it really, one, not only enhances your friendships, but you're
Yeah,
around like minded people. You can ask dumb questions that you don't think you know the answers to. It just
right.
helps you truly grow, and it elevates you when you see others doing something and you're like, oh, I want to try as well. And so I love that Atlanta Tri Sisters has been that source of hope, inspiration, and the drive that you've needed so that you can now show other people that they can try too, like your cousin who's now recruited other people. Do you see how it goes? It's just like we started we started this podcast off and you were saying how it is a act of love and it's a gift, and triathlon truly is that gift for others. And so your act of love is not only, as we said earlier, leaving a financial legacy, but also leaving the legacy of health and sharing with others their ability to do this. And I want to say thank you. It's been a joy and pleasure to chat with you, and we're not finished yet, but we are going to move into
Okay.
rapid fire. But I just
Mhm.
wanted to say thank you because this really, I was just sitting there like, wow, like just in awe of hearing you share your story.
Mhm.
So thank you. So we don't let people leave before we do
It's my
rapid
honor
fire.
to be here today.
Oh, yay. We don't let people
Okay.
leave without answering a few questions, just kind of fun things, help us to get to know you in a different way. And so we're just going to start and
Okay.
we'll see where it goes. All right. Favorite workout snack?
Let's do it.
Favorite workout snack?
Mm, probably bananas and peanut butter.
Okay. This can be a tricky one. Favorite workout
Mhm.
song?
Mm. I, oh my gosh. Probably, I don't know who it's by, but No Hands. Why is
Oh,
that my favorite
did
song?
I
I
get all
love to
excited?
work out.
Yes. Waka Flocka
Okay.
with Wale.
Waka Flocka, thank
Yes,
you. Oh my,
that is one of my favorite
yes.
songs
Yeah,
too.
that's my jam.
That's why I had that loud outburst. I'm sorry for your ears, those of you who heard that. Sorry. I was going to ask you your favorite music artist, but then I was like, oh, that could be tricky. And so I was like, let me switch it up with the song. So that was a neutral one because Waka is still from the A,
Okay.
representing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, got to represent the A now. Got to.
Hardest part of training for you?
Mm. Right now it's the bike.
Okay.
Yeah, because my life is lifing, I'm the hardest part for me now is getting on a bike outdoors. Peloton, I'm doing that, but getting my life to support me to be outside on a trail is my biggest challenge right now.
It's everyone's challenge in the wintertime. Don't worry, you're not alone in that struggle. You're not alone. What's one thing every beginner triathlete should know?
Um, Start with a race like the Meek and Mighty.
Swim, bike,
I
run.
would suggest
Oh,
people start with the race. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. Finish your thought. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, I would take the open water off the table and then just learn how to swim and get out that water and get your butt on a bike and then run. I would start with a pool race first.
That's solid advice. Swim, bike, run. Rank them in order of preference.
Swim for sure is first. Run is second. Bike is third.
Okay. Early morning workouts or evening workouts?
Only early morning.
Let's see. What's one piece of financial advice would you give someone who wants to try?
Plan for it. Work it in your budget like you would work your mortgage or your car insurance. Make it a priority, but plan for it. Just don't finesse your way through it. Plan for it.
And the last question we typically ask, I don't know if you've had this experience, but I will ask you, and then I'll ask the alternative question. Do you pee on your bike or do you get off and take a proper pee break? I was like, is she frozen?
Oh my God. First of all, no, I'm over here laughing. That is one thing I've really talked to Khadijah. I'm like, I don't know how to pee in motion. I'm like, how do you pee in motion? I have not figured out, I haven't learned how to do that yet.
Well, there's plenty of time to learn as you continue to try. Jini Thornton, thank you so much for joining us here on Try Beginner's Luck. We have this saying, whenever you try, you always win. And we know that to be true. You have loved ones out there that you want to try. So guess what? Pass this on to them. Share this show with them. We're on your major podcast platforms and YouTube. With that said, we are out for now. My name is Mashonda Miles, also known as Mashonda Shines. And until next time, peace. We're out of here. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to this episode. We need your help so we can continue to try at TBL. So for more information on where you can find and subscribe to this podcast, visit www.trybeginnersluck.com. And don't forget, whenever you try Beginner's Luck, you always win.